Welcome everyone. Today is the day 5 or the part 5 of the SQL queries or SQL challenge that we have taken from the LeetCode. If you are watching this video for the first time and missed the previous one, I'll encourage you guys to go and watch the previous 4-day videos because that will set a proper foundation and grounds for you people to move on to the challenge of day 5. Today we're gonna take care of subqueries. Normally I have seen people when they write SQL queries in the beginning they find it tough. But this is one of the most important way of writing queries so that you can get the complex insights from the simple tables. We'll see that in action. Let's get started. Cool. So now today let's get started and solve the queries which is related to the subqueries. Means when you have the query inside the query, that's typically the subquery. Let's start with the problem. So we have all the categories of problem in this: easy, medium, and then hard. Normally subqueries are considered to be the hard queries, but we'll make sure that we understand it well and we make things easier for you people. So let's quickly get started. The first question is, employees whose manager left the company. All those employees whose manager has left the company. Very good insight. So I have a table called as employees, and this has a column name and the type. So column name is employee ID, name, manager ID, and the salary. Okay. Perfect. In the SQL, employee ID is the primary key for this table. So this is my primary key. Name, manager, salary, end. Okay. Employee ID is the primary key for this table. This table contains information about the employee, their salary, and the ID of the manager. Some employees do not have a manager. Manager ID is null. Fair enough. Find the IDs of the employees whose salary is strictly less than, okay, employees whose manager left the company, and here it is asking something else. Find the IDs of the employees whose salary is strictly less than $30,000 and whose manager left the company. When a manager leaves the company, that information is deleted from the employees table, but the reports still have their manager ID set to the manager that left. So basically, it is saying that I have to find those employees whose salary is less than 30,000, right? And he will have a manager, and this manager will have some kind of ID, but this will no more not exist in the table. The reports still have the manager ID set to the manager that left. Then the result table ordered by the employee ID. Okay, so I have to done by the ordering. The result format is in the following example. So if I go down and try to see this, so 3 has the employee ID called as 9, but I see a 9 is there. 12 does not have a manager, 13 does not have a manager, 1 has the employee ID 11. Okay, 9 null, 11 has employee ID 6. Now 6 is not present. So I have to go and put 11 whose salary is less than 30,000 and manager ID is 6 is not present in the table itself. Fair. So I've understood the logic, what I have to write. If you know already, please go and write the code. Come back and see what I have written. If not, just look around and see how do we go and proceed with this. So for this, what I'll do, I'll have to go and provide the employee ID, right? So I have to go and say that select employee underscore ID. Fair enough. From employees. Okay, where, and I go and call it as manager underscore ID, not in, and I go and say that select employee underscore ID from employees, and I'll say the salary is less than 30,000, and then I go and say that order by employee underscore ID ASC. If you go and see here, this query that we have written, right, where manager ID, and in this section which you see here, this is the subquery. An output of the subquery will help me determine which employee ID, which manager ID is not present here. So if I go and run this and see if it works. So I go and see that yes, it has worked. So I go and submit this. My solution has also been accepted, right? And I've been able to beat 52.75% of the people who have written this code. Perfectly fine. So the first question done and dusted. Let's move to the next question on the subqueries, which is of the medium level difficulty. Exchange seats. So exchange seats, this is a table which is a column ID and the student. Okay, ID is the primary key, so this is my primary key column for this table. Each row of this table indicates the name and the ID of a student. Okay, the ID sequence always starts from 1 and increments continuously. This is the student, this is indicating the name. Okay, write a solution to swap the seat ID of every 2 consecutive students. Each row of this table indicates the name and the ID of a student. The ID sequence always starts from 1 and increments continuously. Write a solution to swap the seat ID of every 2 consecutive students. The number of students is odd. The ID of the last student is not swapped. Return the result table ordered by ID in the ascending order. The result format is in the following example. So if you see here, this is abort, this is, then I have to go and swap this. So Doris is 1 and abort is 2. Then green is 3 and Emerson is 4. And the last one, which is an odd, is not swapped. Understood? If the number of students is odd, there is no need to change the last one's seat. Fair enough. So when I go and see this, I have to go and swap the IDs. So I have made a thought that what query should I go and write for this. I hope you people are able to do this. If not, just follow along, right? So what I can do here is I'll have to write some kind of conditionals here in this case. So I'll go and write select and I go and call it as case, and I go and say that when, let me write what here, when, and I go and call it as ID ampersand 2 is equals to 1. It means that it is odd, and ID plus 1 is less than equals to select max ID from seat, then ID plus 1. When what I go and do is that when ID ampersand 2 is equals to 0, then ID minus 1. Else what should I do? I should go and say that else ID, and I should go and say that end as ID. Okay, and comma student from seat table order by ID. Okay, so if it is odd, then I should go and replace ID by ID plus 1, and if it is even, then it should go 1 by 1. So with this two condition, if you're trying to see here, using two condition, I'm trying to swap. And in the case if these two things are not there, then I don't do anything. I just leave it as else ID itself, and this all things should be set as the ID, and I go and call it as a student. Let's try to run this and see if it works. If I go and click on the run button, perfectly fine, it's working well. If I go and click on the submit button, my answer has been successfully submitted, and I've been able to beat 75% of the people. Let's go back and try to address this 50 questions again. This is done. Let's move to the movie rating question. So the movie rating question, I have a table called as movies, and this is a column called as movie ID and the title, right? Movie ID is the primary key for this table. Okay, boss. Title is the name of the movie. Title is the name of the movie. Okay, fair enough. Now what I have to do, there's a users table, so I have a user ID and the name. User ID is the primary key for the table. The column name has the unique value. So I have a movies table which has the details about the movies. I have a user table which has the details about the user. Then I have a movie rating, movie ID, and the user ID who has given the rating, what is the rating and when it was created at. Movie ID and user ID, these two are the primary key. So this is the primary composite key. This table contains the rating of a movie by a user in their review. Created at is the user's review data. Created at is the user's review date. As created is the user's review date. Write a solution to find the name of the user who has rated the greatest number of movies. In case of a tie, they return the lexicographically smaller username. Okay. The user who has rated the greatest number, in the case of the tie, return the lexicographically smaller username. Find the movie name with the highest average rating in February 2020. In the case of a tie, return the lexicographically smaller movie name. The result format is in the following example. So movie table 1, movie ID table, user table is this, movie ratings table is this, output is results Daniel Frozen. Find the name of the user who rated the greatest number of movies. Find the movie name, the highest average rating in the February 2020. Okay, so I have written two results out of this. I have to result this and I have to return these two. And return format is something like this. Results is Daniel, and Daniel is the guy who has done the maximum rating. So this is the user, and this is the highest rated movie. Highest rated movie. This question seems interesting, right? Little intriguing also, and it's actually giving me the real answers. Normally in the company, people who work in the companies like Book My Show, this might be their day-to-day query that they might be running to get this kind of insights. Perfect. So let's try to go and write the code for this one. So what I do now is, so I'll have to take care of two things. I'll have to take care of knowing the user who gives the maximum rating, and then I'll have to take care of the movies with the highest rating. And for that, we'll have to go and find the user with the maximum count and also the movie with the highest rating. So, but for that, we'll make use of the with clause. So I go into the with user rating count as, and then inside this, I can go and write the select u dot name comma count, and I want to say that mr dot movie underscore id as rating underscore count from movie rating mr join users u on mr dot user underscore id is equals to u dot user underscore id group by u dot name order by rating underscore count descending u dot name ascending limit 1. Right, so this is the user rating. So what I've done the user name, and then I have counted the rating count of the user, and for that I've written a join queries. I have joined the users and the movie rating queries to get the user name, and then I have ordered by the rating count descending order, and I've taken the limit 1. So this will get me the user which has given the maximum ratings. Similarly, I can go and call it as movie average rating as, and we can call it as select m dot title avg mr dot rating average rating as avg rating from movie rating. Now in the case of SQL, the case does not matter at all, but I'm just writing in a camel case for a better visibility, readability, right? And then I will join, I call the name as joins movies m on mr dot movie underscore id equals to m dot movie underscore ID where mr dot created underscore at between, and I'm going to call it as 2020 02 01 and 2020 02 029, and I'm going to call it as group by m dot title, order by, I'm going to call it as avg underscore rating, descending order, and then I'm going to say that m dot title sc, and then I'm going to say that limit 1, right? And then what I do is from both of these I'll try to go and do the union. So I'm going to say that select name as results from user rating count, and then I'm going to say that union all, and then I'm going to select title from movie average rating. Fair enough. Let's try to go and write if it works. Let me click on the run button. So this has been accepted. Let's try to go and see what we have done once in this. So what I have done is, since the username is present in the user table and movie rating is present in the movie rating table, so first of all I have done users table, and the movie rating table I have done the join, and when I did a join I got the username, then I go and got the count of the movie IDs that the user has rated, right? And then I have ordered by the rating count in descending order. I've taken only one, so this will get me the user who has given maximum ratings. This will get me the users who has given me the maximum ratings. Perfectly fine. Then in the next half of the query, what I have done is that I have to go and find the movie which has got the maximum rating, right? Now the movie name is present in the movies table, so I have a table which is the movies, and there is a movie review table, so both of these has to have the join, right? Now when I have done the join, I got the movie title, I have got the average movie rating, and then what I have to do, I have to go and filter all that which is lying in this range. So everything which is in this month, right, the February month of 2022, I have to go and get all the list of the movies in that. Then in that case I have to go and group it by the title, and I have to go and find the average rating, and I have to do it in the descending order, and so I go and find the top movie with the highest average rating. And once I have done that, what I do now is I go in the bottom and I have got the user rating count. From the user rating count, you have got the name, and also I've got the title from the movie average rating. If I go and run this, it is working all fine. We go and click on the submit and see if it is accepted. And perfect. Wow, this is accepting all the answers. Cool. Let's go back and try to solve another problem. The next problem that we have in the hand is called as the restaurant growth. It's problem number 1321. Let's open this up. Restaurant growth is problem number 1321. It has a table called as customer. Okay. And this table has following columns: customer ID, customer name, visited ad, and amount. In this SQL table, customer ID and visited on these two columns, they together forms the primary key. Okay, these two columns, customer ID and visited on, is the primary key for this table. This is the primary key, boss. Perfect. This table contains data about customer transactions in a restaurant. Okay. This table contains data about customer transactions in a restaurant. Visited on is the date on which the customer with customer ID has visited the restaurant. Amount is the total paid by the customer. Okay, fair enough. So I think it's self-explanatory, this entire table. You are the restaurant owner and you want to analyze a possible expansion. There will be at least one customer every day. Compute the moving average of how much customer paid in a 7 days window. That is current day plus 6 days before. Average amount should be rounded to 2 decimal places. Compute the moving average of how much the customer paid in the 7 days window. Current day plus 6 days before. Average amount should be the rounded to 2 decimal places. Then the result table ordered by visited on in the ascending order. The result format is in the following example. Okay, let's try to understand the result example. So I have a customer table, customer ID, name, visited on, and amount. Output is on 7th, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7th. Amount is 860. If I go and add all of them, 100, 210, 330, 460, 570, and 710. So somewhere around 860, and 860 divided by 7 is 122, 840. So how we have done is, for the 7th day, which is this, from here till here I have added, and for the next I have added from here to here, right? Like this we are adding, and when we are adding like this, we are getting the values like this: 860, then average value was 120, 840, then 120, then 840, then 120, then 1000, then 142.86. This is how the average count. Okay, first moving average from this to this has an average amount of this. Second moving average is from this. Fair enough. So understood. I've got an idea what has to be done here. You guys can feel free to take a pause this video, go and give it a try to solve this problem yourself, and in the case if you're able to solve or not, please come back and watch it, that how I have solved this problem statement. Okay. I have the column listed on amount and average amount. Cool, this is a very interesting problem. Let's try to go and solve this. So I go and write it as with daily underscore sales as. So with daily sales as, and let me go and write a select query. Select visited underscore on, comma, sum, and I go and call it as amount, as total underscore amount, right? From customer, group by, and I have visited underscore on. So I've defined one daily sales, and in this I have taken the visited on, what is the total amount, right, from customer table group by visited on. Okay, so on a visited on I have the total amount of, so this will tell me on each date what is the total amount of the sale that has happened. Fair. Then I have to have the 7-day average, right? So for this I go and write 7 underscore day underscore average as, and then I go and write it as select d1 dot visited underscore on, comma, sum, and then I went past d2 dot total underscore amount as amount, comma, and then I go and call it as round, and then I go and say that avg average, and then I go and say that d2 dot total underscore amount and comma 2 as average amount, right? And then I go and say that from daily underscore sales d1 join daily underscore sales, I go and call it as d2. So this self join on d2 dot visited underscore on between date underscore the d1 dot visited on, comma, interval 6th day. And d1 dot visited underscore on group by, and I can say that d1 dot visited underscore on. So this is the 7-day average, right? And then what I'm going to do, I going to call it as select visited underscore on, and then I going to say the amount, and then I'm going to say that average underscore amount from 7 underscore day underscore average, where visited underscore on is greater than equals to select minimum visited underscore on from daily underscore sales plus interval 6-day order by visited underscore on. That's been a complex query. Let's try to see that what we have done. First of all, let me run this and see if it works, and then I'll explain you. Okay, perfect. It has been accepted. Let's try to see what we have done. So first of all, what we have done here is, so we have something called as a daily sales, right, in which I've taken a visited on. What is the total amount, right? So this table will basically be a daily sales table. It will tell me on each date what is the total amount of sale that has happened. Okay, daily sales. In the second one, I'm trying to find the daily 7-day average. So I've taken a date and another table D2 total amount is amount, and I'm rounding it to the two figures as average amount, and from daily 1 join daily 2, and on what is the condition, d2 dot visited on should be between d1 visited on and the interval of 6 days, and d1 visited on should be grouped by the d1 dot visited one. So it will basically give me the 7-day average, right? And then I'm going to take this visited on amount, average amount from 7-day average when visited date on is more than the minimum value from the daily sales, plus from here I'll have to go and get started, right? So this condition, I go and see this. This is how it works. Let me go and click submit and see if it is accepting all the use cases. So it has been accepted. I have been able to beat 73.91% of the code that has been written here. So guys, then please see this code that I have written, the SQL query that we have written, and try to understand and implement in your own code base. Let's quickly move to the next question. The next question is question number 602. It's again a medium level question. Let's try to see that how we can go and solve it. So friend request to who has the most friends. I have a table called as the request accepted, and this table has a column named requester ID, acceptor ID, and the accept date. Okay, so who is requesting it, who has to accept it, and what is the accepting date. Requester ID and acceptor ID is the primary key. Combination of column with the unique values for this table. Okay, this table contains the ID of the user who had sent the request, the ID of the user who received the request, and the date when the request was accepted. ID of the user who had requested, sent the request, very nice. ID of the user who received the request, and the date when the request was accepted. Fair enough, cool. Move further. Write a solution to find the people who have the most friend and the most friend number. The test case is generated so that only one person has the most friends. The result format is in the following example. Okay, requester ID, acceptor ID, accepted date. Okay, ID 3 has the most number, so requester ID. So this 3 accepted ID so this has the maximum number of IDs. So if I go and aggregate by the accepted ID and find the count, right, I think I can go and get the number, right? So let me go and write the code for this. Cool. So now In this case, if you have to go and find the answer, if I'm introspecting a little more, right, I see that these are the, in this case, three, so two friends, and three also has a connection with three, so three has total three friends, and that's why he has the highest number of the friends, and he got this answer. Okay, so I will have to focus around that who has got the maximum requests, and we also have to say that which has sent the maximum here sent maximum request, and sum total of that, the person who has sent the maximum request plus who has got the maximum request, if this total sum is the highest, is the one which will have the maximum number of the friends. So I have to take care of both the things. Okay, fine, I'm ready with my logic to write the query. Let's try to see if I'm able to write it correctly. It seems to be a challenging problem. Let's give it a try. So what I'll do, I'll go and call it as with friend count as, and let me go and call it as select requester underscore id as id, count acceptor underscore id as number. So that's what we have to go and display from request accepted group by, and I go and call it as request underscore id union all, and then I go and say that select, and I have that acceptor underscore id as id, count requester underscore id as num from request accepted group by acceptor underscore id, this comma followed by aggregated counts as select id comma sum underscore num as total underscore friends from friend counts group by id. Okay, followed by I should go and out it as aggregated counts as select id comma sum of numbers as total underscore friends from friend counts group by id. Then max as I'm going to select max total underscore friends as max underscore friend from aggregated counts followed by select id comma total underscore friends as number from aggregated counts where total underscore friends is equals to select, and then I have max underscore friends from max friends. Cool. Let me first of all run the code and see if it works, and then we'll try to see what we have written. So I've done some error, aggregated counts. I think this has been written twice. Remove this. Then friends counts, I've done the aggregated counts. I've written the max friends. Aggregated counts, this is all fine. Let's need to run this. Okay, this has been accepted. Let's see to understand what I have done here, right? So first of all, what I have done is I have got the friends count, and for that I've done the union. So I've done the count of the acceptor ID and I've done the count of the requester ID, right? And then I have trying to do the union of this pair. Once I have done it, then I've done the aggregated count. So I've got the ID, sum total friends from the friends count by ID. Okay. So from the friends count, I have got this aggregation done. Once it is done, then I go and find the maximum friends. So I go and find the max total friends, the max friend from the aggregated counts. And once I've done it, then I'm actually going just putting this value of ID, and so I've done this in the phases. This phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and then I'm use this to go and print it. So I hope it is meaningful and clear to you people. Let's move back and try to solve the another next problem in the list. So let me go and click on this equal 50. Come back to the next one, which is in, okay, I have not submitted this. Let me go and submit this also to see if it has accepted all the use cases. So, okay, it has been accepted. Let's go back and try to solve the investment in 2016. So this is a table called as the insurance. Okay, and this table has the columns PID, TIB 2015, TIB 2016, lat, long. Okay, what are those? Let's try to understand. PID is the primary key column with the unique value for this table. Each row of this table contains information about one policy, where PID is the policyholder's policy ID. Okay. TIB 2015 is the total investment value. Total investment. TIB is the total investment value in 2015. And TIB 2016 is the total investment value in 2016. Okay. Lat is the latitude of the policyholder city. Longitude is the longitude of the policyholder city. Okay. Great. Write a solution to report the sum of all total investment values in 2026 for all policy holders who have same total investment value 2015 value as one or more other policy holders, are not located in the same city as any other policy holder. So what I have to say, I have tried a solution to report the sum of all total policy holders, sum of all total investment values in 2016 when they have the same total invest value as one or more other policy holders. Okay, so it has to be matching. Secondly, are not located in the same city as any other policy holder, that is the latitude longitude must be unique. Round total investment value to 2 decimal places. The result format is in the following example. Okay, so this is the policy holder ID, total investment value 2015, total investment value 2016. Okay, so for this guy, in the previous year, this guy 1, 3 and 4 is same, so this was one of the condition, and they should be not in the same city, so these are not in the same city. Okay, the first record in the table, like the last record, meets both of the two criteria. The first record in the table, like the last record, meets the both of the two criteria. The total investment value is 10 is same as the third and the fourth records, and its location is unique. The second record does not meet any of the two criteria. CIB is not likely any of the policyholders, as the location is same as the third record. Okay. So the result is the sum of the total investment of the first and the last record, which is 45. The first record in the table, like the last record, meets the both of the two criteria. So in this case, this is the guy whose investment was 10, and then I have other also whose investment is 10, for example third and the fourth, and the location of the third and fourth are different from the one. Perfect. 220, no one had 20, so this cannot be. 3, it is 10, but it's 20, and its location is matching with another one, so location is matching with this one, so it cannot be 3. 4 is 40, so this is 10 matching with say for example 10 and 10, and this 40 is not matching with anyone else. Okay, so total investment in 2026 for these two folks will be the sum of these two values. Okay, little complex, but I think I got it what has to be done. I hope you guys are also clear with me. Please take your time, pause this video. These are the complex queries that will take you time. Don't get bogged down if you're not able to get the thoughts. So please pause the video, look at the problem, try to solve it yourself. Give yourself some good amount of time, right? If you're not able to solve it the first go, don't get feel demotivated. These are tough problems, accept that. Now let's try to go and solve this problem. Let's try to solve it. So what I do here is, let me go and clean this. I'll go and set that with duplicate underscore tiv as, and I'm going to call it as select tiv underscore 2015 from insurance group by tiv 2015 having count star is greater than 1. I was with duplicate underscore tiv as select tiv 2015 from insurance group by tiv 2015 having count star is greater than 1. Fair enough. And then I want to say that unique underscore location as select lat long. Select lat long followed by from insurance group by lat long having count star is equals to 1, and that's where I go and close this, and then I go to the select round, and then I go to that sum, and then I go to the tiv underscore 2016 comma 2 as tiv total investment value in 2016 from insurance where total investment value in 2015 in, and I want to write this select tiv underscore 2015 from duplicate underscore tiv, and I go and say that lat long in, and I go and call it as select lat long from unique underscore location. We go through this once again. So what I've done, I have first of all going to find the duplicate total investment in year 2015. Wherever this account greater 1, I have found this. Then I found the unique locations. So I've got this unique location wherever the count is greater than or equals to 1. Then I have find the total sum of the total investment rounded to the two figures as TIV 2016. And then from insurance, and then I put this clause. Let's try to run this and see if it works. Long query it is. Okay. So where did they go wrong? So I'm saying that. So I'm writing lat long from insurance where TIV 2015 this in select lat long. Okay, here there should be no comma. We're going to run this again. The reason I am not editing out this error which has happened, because I want to show you people that It's very obvious to go and you inserting few comma. It is very human. The only thing is that you don't have to get bogged down by that. Go and see the error, what it is. Look at your code. Look at the queries that you have written, and then I think you should be able to sort it easily, as I have been able to do it by just removing that comma. So it has been accepted. If I go and click on the submit, and let's see that what happens to the outcome. If I can submit, I see that I have been able to beat 87.9% of the people who have written the same query. Cool, let's go back, and then I'm left with one final question of this subqueries. 185. Let's try to go and see this. So I have this question which says that department top 3 salaries. Okay, boss. So I have an employee table in which I have the employee ID, I have the employee name, I have the employee salary, and I have also the department ID in which it belongs to. ID is the primary key, fair enough. For this table, department ID is the foreign key, reference column of the ID from the department table. Okay, so I have a department table also. Each row of this table indicates the ID, name, salary of an employee. It also contains the ID of the department. Then I have a department table. This department table have something called as department ID, and it has a department name. ID is the primary key, column with the unique values for this table. Each row of this table indicates the ID of a department and its name. Fair. A company's executives are interested in seeing who earns the most money in each of the company's departments. So in each department, I want to know who earns the most of the money. A higher earner in the department is an employee who has a salary in the top 3 unique salaries for that department. Write a solution to find the employees who are high earners in each of the departments. Return the result table in any order. The result format is in the following. Very practical question. Almost in every organization, you would like to know that in each department who is being the highest paid employee. So this is a very convenient, very important, and very practical problem that you will go and face when you work as a data analyst, or you have to write the queries to get this kind of information. So I have the employee table, I have the ID, name, salary, department ID, and then I have a department table for the department and the name. Output is I have to go and provide the department name. So basically I'll have to fetch the data from these two tables. So there has to be some kind of join. I have to get the department name, I have to get the employee, and this IT, these are the top 4 people. The sale, these are the top 2 people. Okay, great. The top 3 unique, since 2 people are having 85,000, so you see Joe and Randy has been repeated, is there present. Okay, Max earns the highest unique salary. Both Randy and Joe earns the second highest unique salary, which Will earns the third highest unique salary. Sales department, Henry earns the highest salary, Sam earns the second highest salary. There is no third highest salary as there are only 2 employees. There are no employees with the exact same name, salary, and the department. Okay. So I'm able to make out that how this solution would look like in my mind. You guys can give it a try. Try to write your code yourself, put it onto the LeetCode and see if it works. And meanwhile, let me give it a try. Right. So what should I do here is that I have the 2 tables, and then I'll have to go and combine the data from these 2. Right. Let's try to see that. So what I can do here is, let me start writing the code. So I write select, and I go and call it as d.name as department, because I'll have to, the output should be department. Okay, so the department, I'm going to go to the department, and then I'm going to say the e.name as employee, and e.salary as salary from employee e, and then I go and say that join, and I go and call it as department d on e dot department id is equals to d dot id, where I go and call it as select count, and then I call it as distinct e2 dot salary from employee e2, where e2 dot department id is equals to e dot department id, and e2 dot salary is greater than e dot salary. and this should be less than equals to 3. So I have to take the department in, so I have to do the join. So I've done the join between the department, right, and the employee, right. And then with this inner query, what I'm trying to write the count of the employees whose salary is more than my salary, right. And if that value is 3, then that has to be included. Fair. So if I go and run this and see if it works, if I go and click on this run button, so this is working great. If I go and click on the submit, it has been actively submitted. Typically what I realized was that this hard problem was comparatively easier than the other medium problem that I have solved previously. Cool. So with this, we have completed this subqueries. So finally, we have come to the end of this part 5. We have solved so many complex subqueries today. I understand it might have been a little overwhelming for few of you people. The newbies, the people who have just got started with the SQL queries, this question has been tough. But trust me, once you have a good hang out of it, these are the queries that you will have to deal with day in and day out in the industry. I hope you made a lot of sense with these queries, you practice enough, and we have been able to nail through this subqueries. Put me in the comments that how was the session, were you able to write the queries, and if not, what can I do to make your life easier in the world of SQL. I'll see you in the next and the last part of this SQL challenge on LeetCode.